Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday, the 10th of September. Reading through the Psalms, we read Psalm 54 today, which has the superscription, the introduction for the director of music, with stringed instruments, a maskil of David, an introduction to the form of the song, and we believe it's musical terms. And then the context is given. When the Ziphites had gone to Saul and said, "Is not David hiding among us?" Now, if you read in Samuel, David went and was being chased by Saul, and he escaped to the wilderness of Ziph, and he stayed there in caves, and he and his men thought they were safe. They got away from Saul. They weren't in a town. They weren't close to people. They would be safe. But the other people in the area, the Ziphites, went to Saul and said, "David's with us. Come, and we'll give him into your hands." David got wind of this and was able to escape. But he had been betrayed. He thought he was going to be okay, but he wasn't. And that gives rise to the psalm. And in verse 3, as he prays to God, he says, "Arrogant foes are attacking me. Ruthless people are trying to kill me. People without regard for God." And as he appeals to God, it's not just Saul who's trying to attack him, but he's been betrayed by the people round about him. And they're attacking him by being willing to hand him over to Saul. And as I read that, I thought, that is so true to many people's experience, where we are betrayed by people we think we have a good relationship with. We think we're safe, and it turns out that we're not. And I know people that have been in relationships which they thought were stable, only to find that the person turns on them, or they do something to help somebody, and they find that that same person later on undermines them in some way. They go to for a confrontation with somebody, and there's someone with them, and they think this person understands my perspective, they support me in a sense that they have my back in this, and only to find out in the confrontation that they've been abandoned, they're on their own, if not the person turning against them. And we can't escape people that are like that. If we see people like that, we can try and avoid them, but there's no great big stamp on their forehead, unreliable or anything like that. And we have to just tread carefully and not put our trust in too many people too quickly, and recognize that people do let us down. And we've just got to pray, God, help us not to let other people down, that we don't become like the Ziphites. But when people are trusting us, relying on us, depending on us, help us, Lord, to be dependable. And right at the end of the psalm, David writes, "You have delivered me from all my troubles, and my eyes have looked in triumph on my foes." He cries out to God, and he says, "God, you've delivered me." It's quite likely at that point he was still on the run from Saul. He just escaped the Ziphites. Things were not well. He wasn't sitting at peace and at ease. But he knew, because he was relying on God, God had delivered him in the past, and he had many, many examples of God doing that as you read through the book of Samuel. And as he cries out to God, he can say, "God, you have delivered me. And I know, and I have the confidence that you're going to do it again. So God, I know you have delivered me. You will deliver me in this instance as well. And we will look in triumph." So when we face trouble, when we have problems, let us do like David. Call out to God. Rely on God. And know that the God that delivered David, the God that has delivered so many people through the ages, the God that has promised to be with us and to hear us and to help us and to hold and to guide us, that's the God we cry to. And we can actually, like David, say, "Lord, in the midst of this, I know that you deliver us." Be encouraged by that thought and be blessed.